1.
Hi, everyone. My name is Max Citri. I'm the Director of Quality Engineering at GitLab, and this is the group conversation for the Quality Engineering Department. And as always, we will vocalize questions, and then we'll start discussions right after this. So we already have some questions in the doc by Tong. I think he mentioned that. I'm not sure what NB stands for, but he says that the Alex Insight has moved. Yes, we are aware, and this is more collaboration that we need to do with the Alex group that's also wanting to contribute to Insights. So we will catch up on updating the documents for this. And Tong also has the next one. This is interesting. I took a brief read on this. It seems that he mentioned that the front end specs, the specs are front end heavy, and we would probably want to add more back end focus on this. Kyle, you have some answers here. You want to vocalize?
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback. I'll start with. There is a bit. I'll say there's from the epic. There's a noticeable focus on front-end jobs, because I think there the bottleneck is a lot more pronounced. We are looking to be able to better categorize our merge request pipeline types and measure where the bottlenecks are. But if you are observing any bottlenecks or areas where there's room for improvement, please either open an issue or even comment on the epic, and we will take the appropriate action to make sure that it gets prioritized, so that we can provide benefit across all pipeline types.
Thanks, Kyle. Is there anything? Should we take an action item to review this epic and then maybe provide a feedback? Yeah. And that maybe in the next group conversation we can follow back up.
Yep. Yeah, that's good. I'll note the action item and make sure we revisit this next group call.
Great. Thank you. I didn't. The next point is from John. He found the Easter egg. I think it was made too easy this time around, so I'm gonna make it a bit harder next time. I'm gonna just share the screen so people know what I'm talking about. And full credit to Christopher. I've taken a bunch of pages from his group conversation how to run this. And if you go to this slide and you shift this out a bit, we made a O'Leary version of the GitLab quad planning with the animal suite right above the banner, so it's like in classic O'Leary. And then also credit to Kenny Johnston, who gave me there's a O'Reilly cover book generator that you can just put any animal you want and any caption you like. So thanks for finding it, John. I'll give you a thanks in the thanks channel. I thought it was going to be harder, but obviously improvements from me. Next point is Nicholas. Are there plans to improve local spec execution time? Okay, running across controller spec with 9 tests takes 50 seconds. 25 of them is setup, loading, and then more than 40 seconds on the first run. Happy to know how, or if there's anything wrong and how we can improve here. Kyle, why don't you take this since you already have your answers written down, and I'll follow later.
Yeah, so a lot of this was firsthand, and I'll fully admit, Nicholas, what you're describing is not something that I do very frequently, so this is not something I've observed. There was a suggestion from Remy to try using Spring. I linked to the documentation in the group call agenda. There's also a thread if other people are observing this where we can discuss it in our engineering productivity channel. But please open an issue if this is something, and we can investigate and see if there's opportunity to improve beyond what we've already identified here.
Yeah, and I want to also say that we're going to have a focus with a dedicated GDK team. And right now, from reading this, I'm not sure if the slowness is because we need to fix the spec, or is actually parts of the GDK that needs to speed up so that the response times between the tests is faster. So that's probably something we need to look into, and during the handoff with the new GDK team. Does anyone on the call have any insights on the progress of the new GDK team? Okay, we'll take an action on that. I think Tim Salmon is leading that effort, so we'll make sure that the handoff is there with that team as well on the slowness. Christopher, sorry, do you have slide 6 you would like to vocalize?
Sure thing. We have 3 performance, or on slide 6, we're talking about OKRs and adding 3 performance indicators: creation rate of defects, closure rate, and remaining. How do we think that'll help in product prioritization? One thing that I always think about is in a typical organization, this is viewed as just engineering takes care of this or allocate some amount of time. We're 100% prioritized by product. So I just want to try to think about, are these the right metrics, and how do we think about it in this context?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think we have some data, but it's in our legacy dashboard. What that data gives us is probably not accurate right now because it's not based on the projects that are part of the products. What I'm eager to see is when we slice it by product groups, not even even deeper than stages, where are the hotspots where the bug trend is creeping up, and that's probably where we're going to be adding more focus with the quad planning and also the test gaps and things that can help improve quality overall. That's where the ask here is to get better read on how each product groups are doing. Similarly, how we're doing dashboards for the dashboard from the development department where we have MR rates and all that. This is like a supplement to how each groups are doing. In terms of product prioritization, probably groups that have more bugs would be doing more availability and fixes. And I think it's the product managers that have to do this trade-off. And I think we also need to hold them accountable for it, because if it's not scheduled, what are we scheduling? That is not fixing this bug. If we're doing that, then they need to make it clear why they're making that trade-off, because of what business goals. And hopefully that was a good enough answer for your ask.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Thanks for that. One thing to know, just more for whoever's working on that, is it might be good to get feedback from Jen and Tim. In particular, the directors have been working on section level metrics where we're doing it by label or by team. And that can lead to different ways to evaluate it. But slicing and dicing it that way is super valuable, and we'll probably want to think about in the context of bugs as we move forward as well. So they'll probably have some good feedback for whoever's working on that.
Yeah, that's a great call out. I think we plan to fully collaborate. So in the end goal, we have a dashboard for each groups, and our data is going to supplement the health of that group. So quality is everybody's responsibility, and we aim to provide all the tooling to enable that. And
development agrees.
Yes, I have it written there. So development department has a stamp of approval on it. Thank you for that, Christopher. I'll move on to point 7. Alper, would you care to vocalize?
My question is, with increased concerns of availability and stability on GitLab.com, should we still go on to use it as a test bed for self-hosted instances? Or if we are an enterprise company, which is now mentioned a lot, enterprise software company, should we have like beta preview releases the way other, enterprise software products have?
Yeah, that's a great question. We as part of the engineering management group, we debated quite a bit on whether we want to apply availability to everything. But I think the main focus right now is GitLab.com, and we want to pave the way to make that a stable, rock solid revenue stream. Because if we can run enterprise grade, then we can set a good example for our customers. I think that story needs to be told. Well, it has to be written first, and then it has to be told. So I don't have a good answer on how we want to self-host it, but coincidentally, Greg from the support team pinged me the other day, and he had the same concern. I think we have an issue to escalate or nudge if a bug has a customer label on it, and that's probably a better signal because that one will catch both self-hosted and availability. It's still in the planning phase, so we don't have any ship date for this yet. That's my best solution for you. Other than that, we probably need to see what the benefits what the benefits of this new scheme have been giving us, and iterate from there. See what else that's left for self-manage. But I think that if we make GitLab.com stable, self-manage will benefit from it, but you don't see it yet.
Yeah, like there are some features which do not apply or exist on GitLab.com. So a lot of them now, it's increasing. And secondly, there's increased focus on GitLab.com for customers for stability and availability. And it's now, so that doesn't that change the game a bit, so that we should maybe more behave like a packaged enterprise software company in the release process, at least some beta partners, like people whom we could go and release a beta version, which is like a bit less than 1 month ahead.
I see.
Beta feature flags.
I see, got it. I think I totally missed the self-hosted beta, the keyword beta. I think this is an interesting idea. I do not know who is a DRI to roll out these type of programs, but I think it's definitely worth considering. I think .com, we do have clients that are willing to be on the cutting edge, and I think this is also something we can explore. Sorry, Alpha, I don't have a good question. Sorry, I don't have a good answer for this, but I think it is something we should be discussing and explore. Does anyone know who we should be talking to for any type of beta program?
I would think that we would talk to Josh on the enablement side, because it feels like that's like omnibus package / release process kind of thing. So it feels like, and I believe that Josh also has responsibility for which release customers are, like tracking which release customers are on. I know I've seen that graph previously where basically a majority of our customers are within the last 3 releases of the product, is my understanding, at least the last time I saw that. Chen, you don't have any additional information, do you?
Yes, you are correct. Josh was tracking that information, how fast the customers upgrade to latest and track back to last 2 releases.
Okay.
Yeah, so right now the tail isn't that long, so it's a good suggestion. I just don't know if the data supports it. Would kind of my high level, from my recollection, is if most customers are on the last 3 releases, they're having a beta stability program or a long running 3-year support for previous release isn't necessarily a good option at this point. They like our features too much.
Note that while we don't have an official beta program, we do publish nightly packages for omnibus customers. So this is an option for GitLab EE if they want to get on the cutting edge. They have that, they can pull from the nightly repository, though we can't make as many promises about stability.
Awesome, thanks, Joe. I was about to say that we do have nightly packages, and I'll make a comment in the issue that you link, Alper, and then tag Josh. But I don't think we can promise anything, but I think it's good that we're bringing it up. And yes, the answer to that is they can just download the nightly packages. We try our best to make it stable, but yeah, no promises there. Let's move on to point 8. Christopher.
Yeah, I just didn't realize it was the Tanuki, so just want to make sure everybody calls that out.
For context, I spent like an hour trying to find this image because there's no good Tanuki drawing on Google, if it or not. But yeah, I think I should make it clear that it's a Tanuki. I thought it was already assumed. So my apologies. Thank you, Tanya, for linking the Wikipedia link. Jar, Fuser, you want to vocalize slide 33?
Yeah, sure. So as we know, like GitLab.com is moving to cloud native. We're dogfooding the official GitLab Helm chart. We're moving over Sidekick. We've already moved over a couple services like Mailroom and Registry. And I'm wondering whether, I mean, this is probably a shift we will make eventually, but if there has been any demand for cloud native reference architectures. From what I understand, most of our traditional enterprise customers still are installing on VMs. This is how they want to go. For various reasons. So I think we would probably have to support both anyway, but I'm just curious if there's been any thought about it. And it looks like there's some comments here by both Grant and Tanya.
Yeah, that's great. So I'll let them answer. I think by cloud native, you mean the Helm charts version of, yeah,
exactly.
Okay, yeah. Grant, you wanna take this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good question, and I think that question is going to keep coming up as we move forward, as GitLab.com and moves to Kubernetes, and Kubernetes just keeps growing as a platform. Customers will start asking for it more. We've not had any customers, to my knowledge, ask for a Helm chart for that kind of scale at the moment, or a cloud native setup. We've had some customers ask about Kubernetes in part for maybe certain bits or of the setup, but I suspect if Kubernetes keeps going the way it will, eventually we will get asked for that. I don't know what the status of the Helm charts are in terms of performance and big kind of scale, but certainly that probably will become a topic over time.
Sure, thank you. Tanya, did you want to vocalize anything?
Yeah, we've really been focused on self-managed customers. I have to imagine there are also cloud native demand, but we've really been focused on some self-managed customers, which are on slide 34. I don't want to vocalize, but you can find more
Sure.
information.
Yeah. Thank you. Cool. And I also have the next point. Another thing that's near and dear to me is Puma. This has been something that we've been slowly rolling out on GitLab.com. We're not quite there yet. It's running on a small percentage of the fleet right now, but I'm curious also related to performance and upgrade testing, whether obviously we're going to have to continue to test with Unicorn for a while now, but whether we're going to have a split between Puma and Unicorn. Grant, would you like to vocalize?
Yeah, so for the performance testing efforts, we built out reference environments, which we now recommend to customers self-managed. When we built those environments out, I specifically chose Puma from essentially the beginning, under the assumption that Puma was going to be out sooner rather than later. It's taken a little bit longer to get there. We found a few issues with Puma itself, for example, so that slowed things down. But we've been testing performance with Puma pretty much for numerous months now. And all the tests that we talk about in issues and on our Slack channels and various other places are to do with Puma. It's a good question about Unicorn. I've been thinking about that also recently. It's not actually that hard for us to switch the environments around to use Unicorn. It's just a simple flag in our setup. We're not testing it though, and the question would be what the expectation will be for new customers to be using Unicorn, and what the kind of plan is for current customers to switch over. I'm not sure what those plans are. If once Puma's validated and is ready to go, if we're still saying you can pick either or, then that probably would be a situation where we need to do more Unicorn testing. My understanding at the time was Puma was just going to become the default, and Unicorn was going to be quietly pushed off to the side. But it depends. We'll look at that, and if we still see a lot of customers use Unicorn and they're not moving, then we'll bring that in. We'll set up a test pipeline for sure to monitor that.
Cool, thanks, Grant. I linked to an issue for where we're testing performance on GitLab.com. If you want to take a look at the results, kind of at a high level, we're aiming for parity between Unicorn and Puma performance-wise. As far as latency is concerned, of course, with Puma, there are some advantages like lower memory and CPU utilization.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks a lot. And that's it for mine. Next is Rupert.
Sorry, I was about to vocalize. Sorry, Rupert. Just want to make it clear. Thanks for raising this. I think there are actually another side topic happening on the side that's going to affect self-managed, which is sharding and upgrading PG to Postgres to 11 and 12. So I want to make a call that we really need to over communicate here, because if there are things there are monitoring dashboards that customers need to do before then. They really need to set it up. We've seen slowness in terms of procurements and all that. So these has to be taken into account. And I think over communication and prepping for the customers change really helps here. Just out of curiosity, Jab, do you know when we're going to be 100% on Puma on GitHub.com? You have like a rough end date?
Yeah. Well, so we're on about 10% of the fleet right now. And there's one outstanding issue that we needed to address in an omnibus build, which is not on production yet. Then we're going to do a little bit more data collection and then roll it out to all of the fleet. There's no outstanding application issues right now that prevent us from, that we know of, that are preventing us from moving forward with Puma. So I think now it's just a matter of, collecting the final data and doing the full rollouts. I would say not this week, but it's a real possibility it'll be done next week.
Wow, impressive. Okay.
Wow, yeah. Yeah.
Looks like we have some things to do on our side. Well, thanks for raising this. This is good awareness. I think we will definitely look into this. Rupert, you, sir.
Thanks, Mac. So I know the backend engineering productivity position has been quite a tough role to fill. Do you mind talking to the challenges that we've seen in recruiting to that role and outlining the scope of the position?
Well, first of all, you have been great to us, so no complaints there. I think this is a new role in the industry. Like Google has it, Twitter has it, some other companies in the industry has it. So I think it may be a bit tough because if you want to just source one-to-one role, you're up against the Google pay and the benefits, and it's kind of hard. So what we probably need to do in a more creative manner is look outside the US even, or look outside San Francisco on similar backend roles, or I think another overly used term is like the DevOps engineer, which is like half test automation, half infrastructure internal, and then half backend engineer. I think that's something we can explore. Other than that, the other challenge we see is sometimes when they look at the engineering productivity team, they also look at other backend engineer position and they, I'd rather build features instead, rather than be the back of the house and be the bass player. I think screening for those types of personalities help. I think I'm gonna lean on what I remind my team, like we're in the business of making people happy and engineers happy. I think identifying that type of person that loves to do this type of job is crucial in making the role successful. And it's a bass player, because if things go wrong, you get exposure, but if things are working fine, it's business as usual. And I'm sure the infrastructure team understands this tone. So and our job as managers is to make it clear the achievements of the team and showcase them. That's what we're doing now in this group conversation. Yeah, it's a long-winded answer on how we're going to proceed. Cool. Is that the answer okay, Rupert? Anything else? Okay, thank you. Anything else from the group? That's a chat. Oh, Rick Myers, you're here. You love the Quad Tanuki. Thank you for that. Thank you for the async coffee chat as well. Well, if there are no more questions, I think we're just about at time. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we look forward to see you again in 6 weeks. Have a good day, evening, wherever you are.